You are watching Park TV. Welcome to Monadnock Tonight with your host, Steve Jackson, coming to you live from the studios of the Park Theater in downtown Jaffrey, New Hampshire. Join Steve and his guest today, Executive Director of Arts Alive, Jessica Gelter. Sit back, relax, keep cool, and here's Steve.
Hello there. Good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Welcome to the Park Theater's Park TV's Monadnock Tonight. It is Tuesday, July 21st, 2020. It's about 5 p.m. here on the East Coast, and this is show number 35. And yes, I am Steve Jackson, CEO of the Park Theater, and your host, and I am so glad that you could once again, for many of you, join us again. And for our new viewers, welcome. I'm glad to have you with us. We hope you'll become regular viewers of Monadnock Tonight. We have a wonderful guest today whose organization keeps the arts humming in the Monadnock region. But first, a couple of notes of things going on and things to note, and that would be number one. I mentioned this last week. We are now not only on Facebook for all you Facebookers, but we are also on YouTube simulcast. So if you want to reach us, we know that some friends, even people that are on Facebook, have friends that say, I don't have a Facebook account. I don't want a Facebook account, but I want to watch this show. Well, this is the answer. And because as you know, when you watch a YouTube video, you don't have to have an account on YouTube. So all you have to do is pop over to, we make it easy for you, parkyoutube.com, goes directly to the Park Theater's YouTube channel. So it's another way to tell people, or yourself, if you'd rather watch it over there. It's the same show, but if you want to watch it over there or find it easier to watch it over there, please go to parkyoutube.com. And reminding everyone that all the shows are archived after they have been broadcast. So if you can't make a 5 o'clock on a Tuesday or Thursday, you can always head back to either Facebook videos, or if you go on to theparktheater.org, you can go to, in the top right, the Monadnock Tonight button in the nav bar, and you can look up the past shows, look up the show notes for contact and URL, web address information from all of our guests back to the first show on March 24th. When we had show number 1. So just wanted to let you know that YouTube is out there as a resource. Tell your friends, parkyoutube.com takes you there. The next thing I would like to say is this started last week, and it is on again tomorrow, Wednesday, July 22nd, from 5 to 8:30 p.m. It is the Woodbound Wednesday Buffet, and this buffet is where it's part of the program they've had going on for a while with nonprofits. The Woodbound Inn will donate $3 for every buffet meal served at the inn tomorrow, Wednesday, July 22nd. So, and the buffet, and, if you're reading it there, fresh rolls, mixed greens, broccoli cheddar soup, chimichurri flank steak, herb roasted tricolor potato, blackened mahi with pineapple salsa, cilantro, lime, jasmine rice, assorted fresh desserts, all for $14. That's a good deal. And even better is that they, out of that $3 comes tomorrow night to the Park Theater. So huge thanks again to Rudy and his staff at the Woodbound and Grove Restaurant for supporting us, and to Max and everyone else there. Thank you so much. And also, we've had a few calls because we put out a an email about this on this morning, and people are saying, well, wait a minute, buffets are not allowed in the state. Well, I just want to let you understand how it works. It's not a self-service buffet. Basically, they, as you'd get in line with a face mask, you get in line and you pick from the buffet, but you never touch the plate and you never touch any utensils. The server's behind the table. You say, I want this, I want this, I want this, and they will serve your plate. And at the end of the line, the plate is given to you. And then this all happens outside and via correctly distanced tables. So you can eat outside. If it rains, they have distance tables inside to handle that as well. So reservations are recommended. You can call 532-9505, 532-9505, and make a reservation for tomorrow night. It's from 5 to 8:30 p.m. Bring you, your family, friends, loved ones, have a scrumptious meal and support the Park Theater as well. It's a wonderful program, and we thank again our friends at the Woodbound for doing that. Very kind of them. Now, something that we've been talking about a lot lately, and our last note before we get into our interview is a reminder about our seat program, and here that is. So give a call. You can go directly to park-2020.com and place your order or any other support that you'd care to make to the Park Theater as we prepare the theater to be opened. But we hope that you'll consider naming a seat, and all the info is right there at park-2020.com. Now, the really important thing of the day, and our only guest today, is the executive director of Arts Alive, and that is Jessica Gelter. And Jessica is an artist herself and an arts administrator. She has been the executive director of Arts Alive for 6 years. In that time, she started the Ewing Arts Awards. I think we all know about that, in partnership with the Keene Sentinel, and I'm sure she'll give us some updates about that. She launched the Discover Monadnock Cultural Tourism Platform with partners across the region. Built up the Artist program in partnership with the Hannah Grimes Center, designed and hosted the arts track of the National Radically Rural Convening, offered technical support to emerging artists and community arts projects like the Waldogs Mural Project, if you saw that over in Keene, and the Max T Makerspace, and I think I'm saying that right, Makerspace, and facilitated conversations around the ever-evolving arts community in our region. She also serves as chair of the New Hampshire Creative Communities Network. She has presented at many regional conferences about creative economy and creative community development and creative placemaking. She holds a degree in theater with a focus on collaborative theater making from BU's School of Theater Arts, and she believes her art form is foundational to the community work she does with Arts Alive. Let us bring in 1, 2, 3. And Jessica, do you hear me? Because I don't see you. Jessica, do you hear me? I know we've had a, we've had a couple, we were having some difficulties with Jessica's connection. Wait a minute. Do you hear us?
I can see myself on my screen.
You see yourself on your screen. Let me ask our producer, Kim, you're still not seeing?
I don't hear you.
Kim cannot see you or hear you. Let me do this, Jessica. I'm going to put you in the wings for a second. Jessica, what I would do is possibly go out of your browser and quit it and come back in again. And we'll see if that helps it. And I don't know if she can hear me, but I'm hoping she can. But if she can quit your browser and come back in. Let me see. Jessica, are you there? Well, I'm sorry, folks, we're having this difficulty. Don't know
I can't hear anything.
You can't hear anything? All right. Let me come back. Don't know if I can do that while we're on the air. You know, what you might want to do, Jessica, is I'm just trying to think of a possibility here. You might want to call in, just call in to us, and on the phone that I have given you. Wait a second.
I can do that.
Sorry, folks. We turn off our phones during the broadcast, but let me leave it on here for a second. Let me see if I can get Jessica. I think that might be the best to call us back on the office line there, and we can at least talk to you audio wise and see if that works. All right. Well, hopefully she's going to be able to call in a second, and I will try to. Hello, Jessica.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm going to turn up the volume on our phone here, and hopefully I'm going to let our producer tell me if we can hear you.
All right. I hope you can hear me.
I think we can. We can definitely hear you. And
excellent.
What I'm going to try to do is bring up a photograph of you. So at least we have something for folks to look at rather than just me.
Oh, I gave Kim plenty of headshots.
Yes, we've got them here. I just got to locate it. But welcome. While I'm searching for that, I'm going to ask you one of the questions I wanted to first ask you after that incredible bio introduction that for you and so many accomplishments is, tell us more why you got into the arts and what motivated you in school, in your childhood. What were the factors that said all forms of the arts, or what particular arts that you were interested in, that you got into this field and specialized in it?
Sure. Let me start by saying I always knew art going to be a part of my life somehow. From a really early age, my family surrounded me with music, and we're not shy about trying new things, trying going to the opera, trying going to the theater, supporting friends in high school plays and community theater, and just really getting out there and being part of the community. And it was a great exposure for me as a kid. And pretty soon my dad got hooked on doing theater with a community group where we were living. And I love my dad, so I was like, I want to be exactly like you. Let me come with you. And I was 8 years old. From that moment, I was hooked. Like, it was so magical, this idea that that a group of ragtag, community members could transform themselves and the whole theater into this beautiful story that would bring the audience together, move everyone. I remember an early show I was in, I was like, my goal is I'm going to make the audience cry. I think I was like 13 or 14, and I did it every night, and it was really thrilling to be able to both wield that power and also bring everyone together around an emotion and around a story and around their imagination. So theater, you got me hooked. I'm a theater nerd. And I went to school for that, got my degree, and what I was really passionate about while I was studying was this collaborative, created work. So not just, a director telling you what to do or a playwright saying, these are the words, please say them, but the whole creative team working together to develop something that was no one person's baby. It was everybody's baby, and it was really exciting. So that's the sort of process that I enjoy, that I feel like everyone gets this ownership feeling out of, gets this buy-in through, and it's what I try to use in my work with nonprofits.
Now, did you grow up in this area, in the New Hampshire area or Boston area?
Well, I grew up in New York, Southern Maine, and Vermont.
All right.
I kind of skipped over New Hampshire.
Okay.
It was always nearby.
Yeah. And what was it like at BU's School of Theater?
Could you say that again?
What was it like at the Boston University School of Theater Arts?
It was a really unique experience. I think I really enjoyed school as a kid, and I was ready for something different by the time I was 18. And I thought, just for kicks, why don't I apply to some conservatories? So Boston University was a stretch school for me, and I was amazed that I got in because it's incredibly competitive. And I was terrified to go from living in rural New England to go to Boston, which seemed like such a big city to me at the time. And it was a really transformative experience. I know there's some like, why would anyone want a degree in the arts? It's like really hard to get a sustainable job in the arts. It's really hard to make it. How do you justify that education, that cost? And I would say, oh my God, it is so worth it.
Yeah.
You get to learn just a whole new world of skills and a whole new way of looking at the world that is and can be applicable in so many different fields.
Yeah.
So I really valued my time there. It was incredibly inspiring and a time of such huge personal growth.
Well, I think, what you do, there's no question. And when you're talking about the value, and sometimes people do not understand the value of the arts. They put it on just one level, and which is pleasant, which is beautiful and entertaining. But there's so many other levels of things that the arts can do in terms of, well, economic, in terms of emotional development and community development. There's so many angles, and it's an incredible industry unto itself, and we'll get into that in terms of what it does financially and economically for communities, because you've been so heavily involved in that in our area. But one thing I wanted to let I can't. There are some people, believe it or not, Jessica, that may not know exactly what Arts Alive is all about, and we shall say, shame on you, but you should know. And I'm also, while I'm saying that, and while I'm going to ask you to explain the mission and really kind of its roots and where it is and where it's going, but what it does for the arts communities of the Monadnock region. While you explain that, I'm going to put up your website address. So go right ahead.
Wonderful. Yeah. Arts Alive, I'm just going to say this right up front. Arts Alive is sometimes a difficult organization to explain. We are an organization that supports the arts community, and that means a bunch of different things. And I wear a bunch of different hats to support the arts community. And it's really quite exhilarating for me as a professional to be able to have such a diverse day-to-day job. So one of the things that we do is we celebrate the arts. So things like the Ewing Arts Awards and sharing stories of artists and arts organizations to all of our platforms. We do that to both let folks know, build awareness of the incredible arts community that's here in our region, and also to help build the market and get more economic activity going for the arts community here. We also offer businesses support. So what that looks like is coaching and referrals, just like a chamber of commerce. But we also offer a service that helps organizations with the back end, the boring stuff, so they can do the fun stuff. We do bookkeeping and donor acknowledgements and all of those little administrative back end pieces so that an organization team like the Wall Dogs can create credible murals all across Keene and not worry about the bookkeeping. So those are some of the things that we do. We also, just provide a space for people to come together and talk about issues that impact our community. We've had a long process now, almost a year, of bringing the community that was displaced after the closing of Sharon Arts Center, bringing them together to talk about what's next, what do we do, what can we build, what can we make, how can we stay connected. And that group is now on its first steps to creating a ceramics studio in Dublin, and is already running community arts programs, even now in a socially distanced kind of way, through what is called sharing arts. See what we did there? A little fun.
Yes, got it.
But and the Maker Space in Peterborough has been an incredible supporter of that program, and so we do lots of different things, and our goal is really just to make sure that the arts are really vibrant in people's forefront of their thoughts and ideas of what they can do, as well as cities and health partners and schools, getting them to recognize that it's really important to integrate the arts, because not only are they here, but they're really impactful and they can really help create positive change in communities in lots of different ways.
Yeah. Now, talking about impact, how have you seen the impact on the arts community with COVID-19?
Your question was about how we're supporting it to COVID-19, and
or just or just the temperature read of the arts communities for those who may not know in terms of how they've been impacted just based on your temperature read. And yes, and anything that you guys are doing to help support them as
right.
well.
Well, luckily, artists is a creative bunch. So we've seen a lot of great innovations and new ideas emerging, trying lots of different things from live streaming to socially distanced art walks to artist talks, live streaming on Instagram and Facebook, and there's a lot of work that's going on. I think we're still in a discovery phase of how that translates to business models. And what we're able to do right now is we're just bringing folks together every other week, folks that work in presenting the arts or in arts organizations. We bring them together every other week and we have conversations around what's working, what's not working, what resources do we need help with, what are the current business support grants out there that can help us, make change and sustain through this. What are all of the rules around employment and unemployment and furloughing and time sharing? So we're able to have those conversations and provide a platform for peer sharing, which has been really great. We're still waiting to solidify our strategic plan for the next 3 years, and part of that process is a lot of listening to what's going on right now and what the future may ask of us as a support organization.
Yeah. What I think one of the important programs that you've been involved with in the past, since you've been there, certainly, is the economic impact of the arts and how we can actually measure that. And luckily, there is an organization that you work with, Americans for the Arts, out of Washington, D.C., that has a calculator that actually has been heralded as a conservative calculator in terms of what the economic impact is of the arts within communities. And if you can talk about that a little bit and the impact that you believe that has had of having that calculator for our region.
Yeah, I'm having a little trouble hearing you, Steve. I caught maybe one of every 3 words in that last part.
Sorry. Well, just to have you comment on the economic impact and in terms of the use of the Americans for the Arts economic impact calculator, and how that you kind of pull together all this information that is sent to Washington, and they give us a sense and actual metrics that come back of the impact of the arts on the Monadnock communities.
Yeah, well, what was great about doing the study this last time in 2016 is that our Monadnock Region Arts community had already done it before. In fact, right out of the recession, the Great Recession, there was this huge push to show the economic value of the arts, to ensure that businesses, towns, governments kept investing in the arts because they drove economic activity in towns, across the country. We did a mini study specifically for the Monadnock region, and we're able to use that data to build a lot of great partnerships between chambers of commerce, town groups, and town government. So we repeated the study in 2016, and we're able again to pull in, I think, like 32 arts organizations to conduct surveys of the audiences, and it was really fantastic to see how big the response was. We had way more surveys than were required by the statisticians that were processing them. And it gave us a really good picture of all of the spending that's associated with an arts event. So it's not just the cost of the arts event and what you pay the artists, but it's what you pay your staff, your box office, your marketing folks, and then it's, what the audience spends, not just on their tickets, but concessions and going out to dinner, and some stay overnight and the gas to get there. It was really pretty exhaustive, and we were able to measure about I think it was about 25 or 30% of arts organizations in the region. There are over 300, by the way.
Yeah, wow.
Nonprofits in the Monadnock region. So yeah, we were about able to do a third of that, and we didn't extrapolate the data at all. We just said, all right, here's what the data is telling us about these organizations. There is an $18.5 million economic impact. That is fantastic.
Yeah.
I had a really fantastic conversation when we went on a tour to present this data all across the Monadnock region, and one of the senators from our area said, "This is great. Is this all arts? It seems really low." And I had to explain, no, this is just a third of the nonprofit arts organization.
All right.
This is not the full picture. And he said, well, what's the full picture? So then I had a little bit more work to do. And there's been data collected by a bunch of wonderful organizations like Americans for the Arts, New England Foundation for the Arts, and they helped us figure out new numbers, numbers of those independent artists and creative businesses that aren't measured in our arts and economic prosperity study. And we found that, the arts economy is about $80 million in our region. Nonprofits and for-profits all included.
It's amazing.
Really exciting.
It's amazing. I don't think people, they think of it as the arts, and it's just sometimes the la-di-da arts, but it's a powerhouse. And when you're talking about $80 million, that is a powerhouse.
Right. I also did not hear that question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just commenting. I'm sorry if it must be, no, I'm just saying that it's $80 million is a powerhouse of, no one would think that $80 million would be a consequence of the arts in our region. I think they would come up with a lot of other categories, but they would not go to the arts. And I think this why unearthing this information, and it's only still, there's only so deep you can go unless you force everyone to give you data, and it's tough to do that when you can extrapolate it. But the amount of effect, like you're saying, in terms of how people spend money beyond the ticket for an event, if they're going to a gallery, they're going to a show here at the Park Theater, to the Colonial or Peterborough Players, or to a concert, that the money they spend, and there's an amount if they're a local resident, and it's a much higher amount if they are an out-of-towner, because you mentioned they may spend the night, they may buy more things because they're here longer, and they're not at home, so they're spending more money. So it's very useful information, and I think it's eye-opening for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know a lot of organizations that have used that calculator to show their impact to get some grants, economic development grants, grants to build or expand their business or programming or spaces. It's a great tool to have and be able to use.
Yeah.
And I think, there's one of the points of data that I was really excited about was that, locals will spend about $18 on top of the ticket price for maybe drinks or coffee or whatever that out-of-towners will spend over $35 per person.
Yeah.
And then people that stay for longer than one performance, that stay overnight somewhere, they spend an average of $110 that day. That
Yeah.
includes their hotel room and their food and all that. So it's also a really interesting piece of data that like the way that arts audiences are spread out over income brackets was really even. That there were offerings for lots of different folks at lots of different price points at lots of different locations throughout the region, and that about a third of the folks were, under the median income. About a third of the folks were about at or slightly above median income, and a third of the folks were in a higher bracket. So it was really
An even mix.
fascinating to me to see that income is not necessarily a barrier to participating in the arts, and cost is not necessarily a huge in our region.
Yeah. No, this is great. Great stuff. I've had your website address, monadnockartsalive.org, up. I recommend everybody to stop by, learn more about Arts Alive and what Jessica and her team and all of the arts groups are doing in our region, and how you're supporting and promoting for educational, emotional development, economic, tourism. There are so many benefits that the arts bring. And thank you, Jessica, for everyone at Arts Alive for what you do to help us. And you've helped the Park Theater. That data has certainly helped us, and we look forward to the next round. And Jessica, I'm sorry if it's going in and out a little bit here, but it's technically it's been.
There's a great team that works with me. I mean, I have one staff person, but we have over 200 volunteers every year that engage with our programs and participate and volunteer to teach and lead things and coach and work on projects and support events. So it is a really wonderful team.
Great. Well, thank you for everything you do, and thank you for being on the show today. And we hopefully will have you back on when without a glitch of our. But they've been looking at a wonderful photograph of you, so they know who's been talking at least. But again, we hope to see you soon. And as I say, we'll hopefully we'll be beyond our technical snafus. But again, information, go to monadnockartsalive.org. And thank you, Jessica, for being with us.
Thank you so much, and I hope you all join us for the live stream Ewing Arts Awards next week.
All right, and what's to get to the Ewing Arts Awards, to get to that stream, where do we go?
For right now, all we have is a Facebook event on our Arts Alive Monadnock Facebook page.
Great. Well, folks, we'll put it in our show notes, but watch the Ewing Arts Awards. What day again, Jessica?
All right. Thanks so much, Steve.
All right. All that information will be on our show notes. So look for it. Thank you, Jessica. Have a great night.
All right.
Bye-bye. All righty. Well, again, I apologize that we had some technical stuff of getting through. Hopefully you're able to hear Jessica and the wonderful programs that she has, and the things that Arts Alive does for groups like the Park Theater and many, many other groups here in the region. They truly support us, and it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. So, what's another wonderful thing is what's coming up on Thursday, our Thursday show. This is going to be a very special show because it's going to be about, well, it's going to be a little bit, half of it's going to be about, in a way, about us, because we are going to have on the granddaughter of the founder of the original Park Theater in 1922, and that founder was Romulo Vanni, and his granddaughter is Lynn Vanni Lambert. And Lynn is going to be on and tell us many stories about the founder of our namesake theater here. Plus, she has some great photographs, historic photographs that she will be showing and commenting on. So it will be a great show for certainly for fans of the Park Theater and our history, which is really a wonderful story to behold, from the origins, from this Italian immigrant to our country to start a little store and to turn a building on Main Street into a theater, and to expand that theater and be such a focal point of the community of Jaffrey, as theaters were and can be in any town, but certainly in this town it was. And also on the show, we're going to have singer-songwriter Mr. Doug Farrell will be on. So please stay tuned. That is Thursday, July 23rd at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We also want to make sure that if you have a question about anything on our program, if you're interested also in underwriting any of our programs that support the Monadnock region, please give us a call, or you can email us at parktv@theparktheater.org, or you can call our administration office at 532-9300, 532-9300. And as we say at the end of every show, every week, we ask you to be safe, be healthy, be kind, and always be hopeful, because we can do this. And this is Steve Jackson, your host, signing off tonight and thanking Jessica Gelter for being our guest, at least audio-wise, today. And we look forward to seeing you on Thursday at 5 p.m. And we will see you then. And thanks for being with us. Good night.